Except my STEEZ, know what's going on? Yes, Lord, bring you round 13. If you don't mind. Tips, man. Man, looks like we may have some tough games coming up this week, and hopefully, on paper, they're as close as it looks, man. Looking forward to a nice week of footy, man. So yeah, let's just get into it, man. What do you think so far about these tips? First game of the round, we have the Western Bulldogs versus the Hawthorne Hawks. This has potential to be an entertaining game, a cracking game. The Wizard, one of them entertaining small forwards that we have, and one of the most controversial small forwards, I guess you can call him as well, is out this game. So that's a blow, I think, for the Hawks, considering a lot of their top-end players or players last year haven't quite been up to scratch. James Sicily out as well, so I think Hawks have a little bit of a disadvantage this game. Got smoked by the Pies last week. Surprised at how bad it was, but not surprised at the result. At the end of the day, the Dogs coming off a bye, so got well rested, and it's a home game as well. So I think I'm gonna end up leaning towards the Dogs this game, considering I think they are the better team form-wise. I think their floor is higher than the Hawks' floor is at the moment, and so I'll back the Hawks. I won't. I'll back the Dogs to win this game. It's 9 versus 6 on the ladder. Next game we have Adelaide Crows versus Brisbane Lions, which is 3 versus 2 on the ladder at Adelaide Oval. Brisbane was in a tight one with Essendon last week, which was kind of surprising. I definitely give Essendon a lot of credit for that. Adelaide smoked Sydney last week, as they should have. I guess it wasn't always a guarantee, considering that the floor, speaking of floors this week, the floor of Adelaide hasn't really been the highest, but I think that their ceiling is very high. And they're one of the better teams in the competition when they are playing their cracking footy. So I think I'm going to go out on a limb and risk taking Adelaide this week. It's definitely a possibility that Brisbane ends up winning this game. Even if Brisbane does end up winning the game by a large sum of points, I don't think it'll be very surprising, but I think if Adelaide plays their best footy, I think they're very entertaining, and they're also just good as well. So I'm going to go out on a limb and risk taking the less consistent team, if you don't mind, in Adelaide, and I'm going to go ahead and solidify that. Next game we have Richmond versus Sydney. Richmond coming off a disappointing loss to GWS. I think they played very well, at least the first 3 quarters, man. They're dominant, if you don't mind. Definitely was giving Brisbane giving GWS a run for the money up until the point where Cal Ward unfortunately had a season-ending injury with a ruptured ACL, and then he himself, like a true leader, gave a motivating speech to GWS, who turned it around in the 4th quarter. That game, it seemed like Richmond kind of played that 4th quarter not to lose rather than to win, and weren't quite able to pick up where they left off the first 3 quarters. So it was a good win for GWS at the end of the day, but I do think Richmond fared well that game. Dion Prestia first game back, and he made a large impact. So as long as Dion can stay healthy, I think he does change the dynamic of that midfield. And I think Richmond can actually win this game, considering Sydney got smoked last week. And they really haven't looked good outside of beating Carlton in recent form, if you don't mind. And I don't really rate Sydney too well, man. I think they have an abundance of issues they really need to get over. I don't think this game is unwinnable for them boys, but at the end of the day, I think Richmond, coming off the performance that they had last week and seeing how dangerous that they can play even without number 1 pick Sam Lawler, I think that they can be competitive, and they've showed how dangerous they can be during patches of the season. And I'll continue to say it. They just need a little bit of more consistency going for them. But I do think Richmond can win this game at home. So I'm gonna tip Richmond there. Geelong versus Gold Coast. Gold Coast lost to Freo last week, man, but I think Freo they played a great game last game. I think this could be probably one of the tighter games of the round. This is 5 versus 4 on the ladder. I think Geelong is just, man, I don't know which way you want to go with this game, man. Geelong defense has looked better, man, the last couple of weeks as they've gotten the cavalry back. And Bailey Smith just recruit of the year, arguably. I think they've been playing great, man, and they're at Cadinia Park, GMHBA. I think that will be the ultimate difference as far as me tipping I don't know why I keep wanting to say GWS, but Geelong this game. I can see it going either way, but I'm gonna back Geelong, man. Just all vibes at this point. I think they have Gold Coast has a great midfield, and I'm not denying that, but Sam Collins has been playing straight defensively as well. But I don't know, man. It's a toss-up this one, I think, and I'm gonna just go Geelong. Fuck it. GWS versus Port. Oh man, I'm tipping GWS just because Port is shit, man. I want to say Port. Yeah, Port came off a bye this week, so I wonder if last week. So I wonder if they're gonna get their shit together. I wonder how much of their issues are really addressed. Within the club, I don't really necessarily see them bouncing back just because they had a week off. I think I'm just gonna tip GWS at the end of the day. They did get beat by Richmond pretty in some facets of the game last week. And if not for that Cal Ward speech, who knows if they would have even won that game. But at the end of the day, I still have a little bit of hope for GWS. I think they're the better team. That's really just more indicative of how bad Port has been. It's just been quite ridiculous to see how far they've fallen off. And at this point, there's no reason for me to tip them boys against GWS. So fuck it, I'm going GWS there. Also short a couple defenders as well, so that definitely has a lot to do with it as well. Next game we have North versus West Coast. Oh man, North coming off a bye too. West Coast actually played a decent game last week. I'm gonna tip North just because I think they are the better team. Harley has upped his game though. I've been critical of Harley early parts of the season, wondering quite what his impact was on the field, but he's definitely been better, man. West Coast has been competitive, more competitive than years past, but I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what Alistair Clarkston cooked up, having to buy this last round, and I think North probably is the better team at the moment, and I'm just going to back North being at home, and yeah, just had a week's rest, and yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this game ends up. I think this game could be more entertaining than what I think the ladder shows, at 17 versus 18, the bottom two sides, but I don't think this game will necessarily be too terrible. Yeah, so for that reason, I will tip the North. Next game we have Carlton versus Essendon. Carlton coming off a bye, Essendon coming off a great match against Brisbane. More competitive than I thought they would have, like I said earlier in the video. But at the end of the day, they still are short a handful of defenders, man. I don't know if Brisbane just let up on them boys or just didn't quite take them seriously, but I don't think Essendon should be winning these games, just considering how many players they have out at the moment. Carlton, they have too dangerous of a forward line to lose this game, but I wouldn't put it past them. There's absolutely a shot for them to lose this game. I'm not going to say that there's no chance that they'll lose. But I'll back Carlton. I know they're the worst kicking side. I know they're terrible at ball movement at times, the kicking and the turnovers, and the method is very questionable at a lot of the times, but it's a rivalry game, and I think Carlton does have the force to really put the pressure on the defense, and that's really just what I'm hoping for at the end of the day, man. It's got to be cleaner coming inside 50. Yeah, that's what it comes down to. I'm backing the forwards in this game in particular, and yeah, we'll just see how the delivery ends up, man. That's really just what it's all about at the end of the day, man. So I'm going to tip Carlton that game in the rivalry, 13 versus 10 on the ladder. In the last game, we have Melbourne versus Collingwood, and I think it's no secret that I'm going to tip Collingwood this game. Melbourne got smoked by the Saints last week. Didn't particularly look close at many stages during the game. Melbourne was just terribly inaccurate, bro. And it seems to be a trend with them boys. It's just something that they really can't get down for whatever reason. I think Collingwood isn't a team that you can really do that with. You got to take your chances when you get them and make the most of them. And I think Collingwood is just the better team, the more polished team, the more consistent team. Yeah, just at the end of the day, I don't think Melbourne will really be able to live up to the pressure and defend well enough to stop Collingwood enough times to make up for the inaccuracy that they show every game. And so, for that being said, the last game, I'll tip Collingwood at the MCG. But that's what I got, man. Like, comment, subscribe, all the YouTube shit, man. Hopefully these games do end up pretty solid. Seem like we could have a handful of competitive games at all stages of the ladder, the upper echelon, the middle, the bottom, and hopefully that's what we get, man. So don't forget to like, comment, subscribe again, and stay tuned for the lives this week, man. You know where we be at. STEEZ and TheDon AFL. Yes, Lord.